And so this, he started recording.
It's my girl.
Yeah. So the recording for this album,
Guys, I think we got Jackie drunk on the last episode. Roses are red, violets are blue. Don't let a weird pube wreck you. It's Valentine's Day. It's just around the corner, and our sponsors at Manscaped are here to help you with the best tools to get your balls ready for that special occasion. It's V-Day, and it's time to join the 4 million men worldwide who already trust Manscaped, the leaders in below-the-weight grooming. With our exclusive offer, go to manscaped.com, use the promo code SHOWMEYOURS, and get 20% off plus free shipping.
wow.
Jackie, it's Valentine's Day. It's coming up.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's one of the most important times of the year, right? Why
Yeah.
not get a gift for your man? Why not men? Why don't you get a gift for your lady? Right? Take care of it, right? Just
Yeah.
because it's Valentine's Day doesn't mean that you're just going to use this one time and throw it away.
No.
If
not
you're
at all.
that kind of fella, you know what I mean? Imagine the amount of work that one trimmer is going to use.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 1 week out of the year.
Yeah.
We're not having that. You know what I mean? Right? If you choose to use that in this way, then we don't stand for it. We like clean balls all year round, but Valentine's Day,
Especially.
it really is.
Yeah.
It
more
really is.
polished.
Right? It's the number one product. With this package, it's a lawnmower 4.0. It's an electric trimmer, Jackie. It's got the flashlight. You can use it in the dark. It's waterproof. You can use it in the shower. You know what I mean? Drastically reduce the cuts, drastically reduce the nicks. You know what I mean? Everything that they have with this package, Jackie, it comes more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We got deodorants. We
Wow.
got revitalizing ball sprays.
Wow.
Right? We got a beautiful little leather shed to keep it all in there, right? It's the
Yeah.
performance package, people. You need to get on it.
Mm-hmm.
And the only place that
Jump
you
on
can do it is at Manscaped.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We love these people. I love them. You
Love them.
love them.
Love them.
Honestly, it's made my life drastically different because I'm walking around with the confidence of a man with clean balls,
Yeah.
right?
Can see it. Smell it.
Absolutely. Right, so this is the call to action, ladies and gentlemen. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the promo code SHOWMEYOURS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com when you use the promo code SHOWMEYOURS. Join Cupid and shoot your arrow with Manscaped this Valentine's Day. Pow. Welcome back to Show Me Yours podcast with Jackie and Johnny.
I'm Jackie Eggman.
And I'm Johnny DeVito. While we have you here, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get the business right up in front, right out of it, right? Go do all the likes. Yeah, we'll give you the business. Do the likes, do the subscribes, the 4 stars, the comments, all of that stuff.
5 stars.
5 stars?
Why are you encouraging them
4
to
stars?
give us a
Jackie, when I was a
one less
kid,
star.
4 stars was like the mark. You know, now it's that. Now when did they add the extra star? There was 4 star was a clothing brand that was coveted when I was,
right.
you know, riding skateboards and snowboards back in the day. But none of that matters. Give us 5 stars.
Yeah, give us 5 stars on Apple Podcast, Spotify.
You usually do this part.
If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. It really helps us a lot. Give the video a like, leave a comment. Even if you comment some insane shit.
That'd be cool.
anything,
You
it
could
would be
comment like
awesome.
bring back 4-star clothing.
Yeah. You could comment this podcast fucking sucks, but still give us a thumbs up.
So if you give us a thumbs up, then we're cool with
Yeah.
it. Yeah, fuck with us a little bit, right? I like
Yeah.
talking shit.
Yeah.
I miss that, like the
and,
lunchroom. You know what I mean, Jackie? I'm a plumber,
Yeah.
right? You know what I mean? I've been turning wrench out here, right? Like, you know what I mean? So if I can't sit down and call, you know, my friend, my colleague, somebody that I spend time with,
Yeah.
the fucking asshole,
Right.
in good fun,
Yeah.
then what fun are we having? Go to our
Exactly.
YouTube comments and call us assholes.
Call us assholes.
Yeah.
And yeah, give us thumbs up, subscribe, hit that bell so you'll get notified.
Ring that bell, baby.
When we release new episodes every Monday. Subscribe to us on, you know, if you're listening, whatever platform you may be listening on, give us a subscribe.
Yeah.
Follow us on Instagram. That helps a lot.
Big time.
And share us on your Instagram stories. Share how you're listening to us. Give us a tag. We would love that.
We do,
Yeah.
right? Create the community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it's so important. I think I said that last week, or I don't know whenever that Kevin episode is coming out, but I think that like
Yeah.
that's really important. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's just like to build that community because like I don't really like a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
Or at least I think that I don't. Right?
Right.
Until I meet them. And then have you ever like watched me meet somebody?
Yes.
I become buds immediately. So if you want to come and be our bud, if you want to come and see us live and you're in the Vancouver area, come down every Tuesday to King's Head Pub.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Buy us a beer, we'll buy you a beer.
Exactly. We'll do a little one for one.
Yeah, really no money will exchange hands there, but like a lot of high fives will, you know what I mean? It's COVID time, so tongue kiss me, touch my girlfriend's butt, we're going to have a good time.
Sure.
I don't promote. No. You can tongue kiss me, but don't you dare tongue kiss me without touching Jackie's butt.
Yeah. At the same time.
Well, I mean, ideally, let's have a moment.
It would be weird if you did it like secretly.
Oh, without, because then, then we'd get, imagine if like one of our viewers like created like a rift of jealousy between the two of us.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe do that. No, don't do that. Not like, I mean, like, so that we can talk about it here, not like actually like create a rift of jealousy. That'd be crazy.
Right.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Yeah.
If you're super hot out there, stay the fuck away from us, all right? You're going to come pull her down into your depths, steal her away from me, you fucking asshole. You know what? Stay the fucking home. Don't come to our show. No, that's not true.
If you're an uggo, come on out. Come on out to King's Head Pub every Tuesday.
Yeah.
We run the show. We're there every Tuesday. Ticket links, it's always in the description. So wherever you're watching or listening, go to the description, click that link. Tickets are $10 each. And it's always a good show. It's always
Drinks
a
are
fun
cheap
time.
too. It's a good time.
Drinks are cheap.
We're having fun.
And we'd love to meet you.
Absolutely.
So come on out every Tuesday, King's Head Pub in Kitsilano. And
without further ado, Jackie,
we have
what do you got? What do you got for me this week?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'll start off this episode by saying this is the last episode.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
That we are recording in this location.
Bittersweet symphony.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a little bit of a verve situation that we have here, but I'm excited because onward and upward, we're going to a much lovelier place. We're gonna get a kitty. Yeah. We're gonna have maybe I think like the black couch situation. Like we're looking into it, right? Like you're gonna get a whole new set, whole new look.
A whole new look. But the same old podcast.
Yeah. We're still gonna be talking shit about. We'll talk 20 minutes of music per episode. We promise.
Yeah, it's gonna be everything you love, but it's gonna be in a different space. There's gonna be a lot more room. It's not gonna be so tightly focused in on us, you know. We're going to be lounging. Absolutely. And it's going to be much more comfortable,
there's
you know.
There's going to be a kitty.
Yeah, there's going to be no roommates to deal with. We're going to be getting wild.
Oh, so yes, yes. This is going to be it's almost dangerous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Unsupervised.
Like definitely. Yeah, but we're going in there and the inmates are taking, the inmates are buying their own asylum.
Yeah,
or renting.
You're buying. That's crazy.
Fuck,
hey.
we're done. Yeah, we need more of you to like and subscribe before we can buy.
Yeah. But so this is the farewell episode. We're very excited, and let's get to it.
Yeah, let's get wild. Let's do it. I'm excited. I'm excited. Let's.
So the album we're discussing today. It is Tumbleweed Connection by Elton John, an early Elton John album, and it is nothing like what you are expecting. If
Saturday.
If you haven't listened to it, I recommend perhaps give it a listen before you listen to this podcast, because you're gonna have an idea of what Elton John is, and that's not what we're talking about.
I sure as shit did.
Yeah.
Elton John, obviously like a champion of like individualism and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like when it's been like in the public eye for so goddamn long, but definitely like I don't know, like in a Freddie Mercury kind of canon or whatever of like do your own thing, and so I like pop culturally speaking, you know what I mean? Like I respect, you know, the guy for like what he did or, you know, whatever, right? You know, kind of pushing some boundaries forward and shit. That's cool. Musically speaking, I mean, I think I know like a couple of the hits or whatever.
Of course.
Right. I think
does.
My mom listens to this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to sit down.
Rock. I was listening to that earlier today.
He has a song called Crocodile Rock.
Yeah.
That sounds like
a thing called a crocodile rock.
I have no idea. Oh, that song.
Yeah,
oh, good.
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
see, when you do that, like,
yeah.
when you do that, like, it makes fucking just, it turns the light bulb right on. No, I don't know anything about Crocodile Rock, but it sounds like it should be like Schoolhouse Rock. You know what I mean? Like in like a kid's cartoon kind of situation.
It's a fun song, but obviously everyone has. I'm sure everyone has a favorite Elton.
Am I the only guy that doesn't know Crocodile Rock?
It's a classic.
All right.
It's
Okay. Fair enough.
I'll play it for you after.
All
I'm
right.
sure you've heard
Cool.
it before.
Cool.
But yeah. So this is.
But yes. Okay. So
yeah.
sorry. But yeah. Sorry to finish my thought.
Yes, sorry.
With Elton John being like who he is, like pop culturally, and like I mean now in 2022, like I mean how long has this guy been fucking famous for? When you told me that we were gonna do this record, I went through the Spotify list of his discography, and I was kind of like, holy shit, how deep do I have to go here to get to this one? Like he's put out a shitload of music.
He has been putting out records for over 50 years.
That is insane.
Yeah.
And good for him.
Yeah.
But this one here made me laugh because Jackie, we have an Englishman, a homosexual Englishman doing a song about blue collar Americana.
Yeah.
Where, like,
at this time, he was not out.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
cool. Like, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know, but like, it just made me laugh so goddamn
Yeah.
hard
Yeah.
that like this is like I love a concept album, but like a concept album is like fucking flashers will remember Deltron 3030. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna do a concept, let's go to space.
Sure.
Let's you know what I mean? Let's do Parliament. You know what I mean? Like some funkadelic shit, or you know what I mean? Let's do this. So it's really really funny that. Somebody from like the other side of the world or whatever would look at like hard time American life and like and let's do like a song about that. But there's obviously so much history and so much music and stuff to come from there, so much to pull from there.
Yeah.
That like it works so goddamn well.
Yeah.
That by the end of it you're like, fuck, this
Yeah.
album kind of slaps.
Yeah. But before we get into the minutiae, we got a fun story for you.
What do we got?
So there's a statue in Peru that has been vandalized, and
Very common these days. Very common for a statue to get vandalized, Jackie. Now,
Yeah,
I assume that this would be like a colonizer.
right.
This is somebody that you know has like the statue, you know, that's been kind of placed here, maybe like
Right.
you know, symbolizing, you know, the takeover of these
Sure.
people. So like I mean, obviously, it's been very common, I think, in the past few years for locals to vandalize statues. What
Right.
what about this one?
Well, this isn't quite the same. How about I just read you guys the title of this article?
Sure.
Peruvian statues, giant penis, thrills tourists, but vandals are turned off. So, this statue, it's a 9-foot representation of a fertility symbol from pre-Columbian, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, Mochica? M-O-C-H-I-C-A. I apologize. I'm not going to pronounce this
Yeah, that's
correctly.
fair. Last of the Mohicans was a flick, but it's not
Yeah,
like the
but
Mohican,
that's
not
I
spelled
don't
the same.
I think Mohican doesn't have the CH in there.
Fair enough. And like all the way, I believe that was.
Mochica, maybe?
I don't know. I don't know anything.
Yeah,
about
whatever my pronunciation is, I apologize.
it. Careful, Jackie.
If it
Back out of the
offends.
room. Back out of the room.
Yeah.
Careful.
I'm just dumb.
I don't think anybody's coming after me.
Yeah, so this is the newly erected statue of a grinning man with an enormous phallus has prompted delight and rage in an archaeological hotspot in northern Peru, where it's been on show since the beginning of the year.
Well,
so this
Jackie,
is
any time that somebody shows up with a massive hog, it's going to cause a little bit of excitement and a little bit of rage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, right? Like jealousy is jealousy is something that you have to kind of compete with, you know, in this environment, right? If you're just out here just hanging dong.
Yeah,
Right?
and so
Any flashers coming to the show, you better not have a huge cock. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah.
Bring a huge cock.
We'll put a photo of it
Right here.
so you know what we're referring to.
Yeah, we're on 13 minutes.
13 minutes. And so although perhaps not anatomically correct, the crimson fiberglass structure is a faithful representation of a ceramic vessel from Peru's pre-Columbian Mochica culture, whose people lived in the region between 150 and 700 AD. So this has become a tourist attraction. It's a remake of a previously existing fertility sculpture that, you know, existed in AD times.
Watching you tiptoe around this is hilarious. so there's been like
So it's like basically they took this this particular.
It's like a classic symbol that they've like recreated, like a crucifix, or you know what I mean, something like that, right? Like it'd be the same thing that exists in a bunch of stuff.
I think it's like a literal sculpture that existed, or maybe still does exist, and they just made it into a big structure.
Oh, so somebody just made a little dude with a huge cock, and then somebody was like, "This needs to be 10 feet tall."
So, and I believe the original one is from like, but somewhere between 150 and 700 AD.
Well,
like
Jackie,
very
as
old.
fans of Tim Robbins and Martin Lawrence, we all know Nothing to Lose. And I mean, in the movie Nothing to Lose, spoiler alert, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't listened to the Elton John album or seen the movie Nothing to Lose, stop what you're doing and go and watch those things, because there was a pause section, right? So now they can come back after now they've seen the movie. Now that they know,
welcome back.
Yeah, now that they know that at the end of the movie, Tim Robbins decides not to steal the cash, but the only thing that he does deface is the I believe it was an African fertility statue.
Right.
So like, there's cultures all over the world that have been making big dick statues for a long time.
Exactly.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
Not our people, Jackie. Our people make little dick statues.
Fertility sculptures is actually that is the earliest art that we have is fertility sculptures.
Jackie, the first thing I ever drew was a dick. Like, are you kidding me?
But there's this
and it was huge.
The very first piece of art. I took art history in grade 12, and most of it I was fucking around. But my memory of this is not going to be correct. But
Jackie,
I'm just going to tell you how I remember.
I love how you bring it, because like you're like highly educated, but to the point where you smoke so much, you're just like highly educated. Like you're just like I'm sitting next to you on a couch, and you're like, man, you know something about this art, right? Those dick statues are really old. Tell me about it.
So the first piece of art that we ever discovered, the oldest piece of art we've ever discovered, is this like woman ready to bear children. I don't.
Why are you tiptoeing around this, Jack? This is the last episode of this thing. Get wild with me.
No, I'm not.
Are you okay? So is she like on her back, legs up?
No, I'm not trying to be dodgy. I just don't know how to describe it. I'm gonna try and
squat position.
Oldest,
back arched, knees and elbows on the ground.
Kind of like a plump woman.
Sure. Okay.
Oldest. Oldest
piece of art discovered.
Oldest art fertility woman.
Sure.
Here it is. That's the first thing that comes up. Yeah, the Venus figurine. That's the
This is the oldest piece. Okay, so for the listener out here, ladies and gentlemen, she has
big old knockers.
Just a set of guns.
Childbearing hips.
Jackie, like childbearing hips, she's been bearing more than children in there. Looks like she's like on a steady Carl's Jr. Like double cheese diet. That she's a big girl. She's a big girl, and she looks like she's doing her thing. So how do we know that this is like fertility? Because it also looks like she's got some little panties on her.
Well, I think it's like clearly meant as a symbol of fertility, given the prominence of her sex organs. 'Cause you can even see her little puss. We're gonna put a picture of this up too. Oh god, this episode suddenly requires a lot of editing.
17 minutes in, Jack.
But yeah, so fertility sculptures have been among the oldest artwork that we have.
I like how like fertility for like a big girl back in the days of fertility sculpture,
but
and like a big girl
now.
It's
big. It's that it's like accentuating her childbearing features, like those big old titties that are like ripe for feeding, and those big old hips that definitely have bared some kids, and then like the little her little coochie, which is like it's pretty pronounced, and then she has like
absolutely
it's very clearly like anyways. So these kind of representations, because
like it looks like a fertility statue, it could just be like more like beat material for like a little kid who's like has like he's like a potter, a young potter, not a wizard, but a potter. You know what I mean? And say like instead of making like like pots for that day, he like put together this little thing, and then like so it could be like the first. They didn't have magazines in like AD periods, right? So like maybe he was just taking that thing to spank to him. Maybe that was just what he thought was beautiful at the time, rather than. Why am I trying to argue?
But
this?
You could say the same thing for like figurines with big old dicks, you know.
That's what I'm doing.
From what we understand, these are symbols, representations of fertility, because in early cultures, obviously
it's about staying alive.
fertility
It's about
is very
keeping the train moving. No,
and
and
that's
I
what's
agree.
celebrated.
I
And even
agree.
in our culture today, except now it's all like sexualized. That's still
Yeah.
like why we're drawn to those things, you know, is that like human desire to like keep the species alive.
Sometimes when I think, yeah, okay. So sometimes like right before I'm about to just like bust, in the back of my head, I'm like, put a baby inside of her, and like I know that that's not like the desired outcome, but there is this like fucking animal urge or whatever,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
I
Like
think
at
that's
that time
normal,
that I think like so like part
Yeah.
of me like the Dr. Jekyll or the Mr. Hyde, whichever
Yeah.
one is just like fucking impregnate. Let's get her pregnant.
Yeah, I think
know what I
that's a
mean?
normal.
is
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. I think everyone kind of feels
That's
that
not
way
something
to
that I
an
do every time. That's just something I do with you.
extent.
Every time. Over the course of history.
Yeah. You keep walking yourself down this hole.
Jackie, you got a ladder to climb out of this fucking hole that I'm in?
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's like a normal. I think that's a pretty normal, just instinct thought that
Yeah.
people have.
Yeah.
Because you know that's part of our probably our biggest drive. Obviously, our biggest drive is to survive, and on a macro scale for our whole species to
Yes,
survive.
yes,
So of
yeah.
course, fertility has been very important. I'm so glad we went over this history.
I'm pumped too. I didn't read the article, so I was like, okay, we're just gonna go with it. But you know, I mean, there's enough legs to walk with here.
Yeah. The layman's description of the history of fertility sculptures.
Is that what I was gonna say? Like the layman's description could be like another name for the show, like for fucking music, topics, anything that you want.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a very uneducated thing, and in the background, you're gonna hear Jackie rummaging through paper bags.
Yeah.
We're drinking again on the show, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you remember like when we very first started hanging out at VFS and it was the very first time I met Garrett actually, and we had like a whole we just went on like a fucking 30-minute riff about layman.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't remember it specifically, but
Yeah.
like that sparked like
Yeah,
like
it's become like an ongoing bit.
yeah, for us, but like I think
yeah.
like for like layman's terms was like even like a, oh shit, we're not gonna give away
Yeah.
anyway any future problems.
But
Or
yeah,
future
yeah,
projects.
yeah.
Sorry. I had a problem as well. I'm sure.
Yeah. But anyway, so back to this particular fertility sculpture. So despite its historical fidelity, the 9-foot-tall fertility symbol has already been attacked by vandals who smashed a hole in the statue and reportedly fired shots in the air as they fled, which is wild. I mean, like by now you've seen the photo that we've edited in, and you'll see that the
This prominent man is
vandalization.
holding one arm up, strong, dick strong,
Yeah.
and a 10-foot cock on him.
and
It's
like
awesome.
this statue has to be like superbly made because I'll describe the event. Then
They
we'll
did
get
what
to
any
the
regular
actual
person would
damage.
do, Jackie. Would every time that you see a big dick, what you don't want to smash a hole in it and
Smash a hole in it,
shoot
and then
and shoot a pistol in the air?
But okay, so I'm going to describe the event because it's wild how extreme it was. So basically, I'm not going to try. Arturo Fernandez Bazan, the mayor of Mochi, the district named after the ancient culture,
Okay.
told local media at 2 a.m, 3 hooded criminals held a knife to the security guard's neck
Damn.
to keep him from reacting or calling his colleagues on the radio, and 2 of them damaged the phallus.
What kind of security is it at this park or at this like site of like a
I
an
guess
artistic
it's like a big
sculpture?
tourist attraction
Okay,
now.
okay, fair enough.
But so I'm just trying to imagine this. So there's 3 vandals. They come in and they're like, this is so important to them that they're gonna hold a knife to the security guard's neck so they can get this done, and all they fucking do is smash a hole. They don't even topple it over. There's no, like, the tip isn't gone. There's just a hole in one side of the tip.
See, this is symbolism for like little dick dude anger. You know what I
Yeah,
mean, right?
Like
I mean,
literally just bash the
just
hole
be happy
in
with
the
what you
tip.
got. I'm not speaking over
Yeah.
here like I'm
Didn't
fucking
even-
packing hog, Jackie. I'm just saying be happy with what you got because I'm sure it could be worse. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
But that's such fucking little dick behavior. is just to like roll up to a place.
They didn't
'Cause,
even
like,
take the tip off.
If you're gonna like deface anything, really, I think if you have like a you know like a message behind it, or it's like art and it's going to be either like funny or political in whatever senses. Like we watched go check out In Decline's new video that they just put out. In Decline is like an art collective, and they go and do like kind of like disruptive art installations all over the place. They did the Donald Trump little dick thing. It's the new video is called Side Hustles. It's fantastic. Check it out. Right.
Really
so
good.
for that you know, in that sense, you know what I mean? Like that's, I love everything they do because they're protesting like abortion rights and you know what I mean? Like
the word
gun control and all of that stuff. So for like a vandal here, like these are just angry little dick dudes that are just going to go and like, see, like that's the power of the big dick, Jackie. The prominent dick just still stands strong.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? They didn't even
they didn't even knock the tip off.
Jackie, you want to take a big dick down? You go from the base.
Right?
Everybody knows that.
Exactly. And it's just like in the one side of the tip, they just knocked a hole in it and then pop, pop. And then fucking whoever and then whoever was fucking holding the knife to the security guard was like, "You guys, we're good. Runs off. Like, it didn't have to be that fucking serious, dude.
I love how like they went up there like
crazy.
let's fuck that big dick up, because like they're all like they're bummed, right? Like, so imagine, okay, like you're at the bar, 3, you know, you and 2 of your buddies, everybody gets shot down, right? Maybe like you didn't even meet up with your buddies there, right? Like you were there like for like your own date kind of situation, right? You get stood up, and then there's 2 of your other buddies that you run into, right? And they're not getting any luck either, and they're like, man, you know that big dick statue over there? And they're like that's the way that like that men work, you know what I mean? It's probably after like a couple beers and let's make a fucking, let's do something fucking dumb, and then you get there and then like you're there to fuck shit up, and then all of a sudden there's like a security guard there, and all of a sudden like it just escalates. Yeah, you know what I mean?
And then they try to fucking like fuck
the fact
up
that
the
this
statue
is world
and
news.
they couldn't get.
The fact that this is fucking like even world news. It's just like it sounds like 3 dudes just like went out to fuck some shit up.
Imagine like being the security guard. So you're there, and it's probably like I imagine for most security guard positions, 96% of the time, it's very boring.
Mike Bodds is a security guard. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna go hold up Bodds, man.
Exactly.
I love that guy. What are you gonna fucking put a knife in his neck? That's crazy.
So you're keeping watch of this fucking fertility sculpture, and then all of a sudden, worst case scenario happens. You're fucking, a knife is held to your throat. You're terrified. You're being held captive. They leave, you hear fucking shots go off in the air. You're like, holy fuck, this is worst case scenario. I'm terrified. This is crazy. I can't even imagine the damage they've done.
I love that the security guard that this happened to was like, you know, he's talking to his wife. Maybe he's like ex, you know, security guards, it's not like ex, like police or something. You know what I mean? The guy just like wants to like just a cushy job. Yeah. You know what I mean? Chilling, right? And he's talking to his wife, and he's like, well, I mean, I got 2 offers here. I could go protect the dick statues or the bank. Yeah. And she's looking at him like, you like, probably do the dick statues. You know what I mean? It's going to be so much safer. And then, boom.
Yeah. And then you go to assess the damage, and all they've done is fucking knocked a hole on one side of the tip. You're like, fucking seriously, bro? Like, at least knock the dick off.
That's so I mean, like, the big dick's always going to be on the pedestal. You know what I mean? And it's strong, and you're going to go there, right? Like, you need at least, like, you know, like, the thing is, like, they're from Peru. Maybe they don't have, like, the logging culture, or, you know what I mean? Like, in your background, or, I guess, both of ours or whatever, right? You know what I mean? And it's British Columbian culture or whatever, right? Like, if you're going to go and you're going to attack something with, like, you know what I mean? Any cock with over like a 10-inch base, you know what I mean? You're going to need a chainsaw. You're going to need, you know, some kind of like proper protective gear and stuff like that.
We know all about fallen trees.
We know everything about I know about as much about falling trees as I do about building knives, because like I just watch TV shows about them. Yeah. So like I've never like fallen a tree.
It's an all-day event.
I did fall a tree actually one time. I was such a pussy. It was fucking like 4 inches around. Yeah. And I'm like, zzz, zzz, zzz. I'm trying to like do it all like the way I've seen it before. My buddy just puts his hand on it and pushes it over. Like, you're a bitch. Yeah. So that's me.
So this mayor has said that he plans to erect up to 30 more statues representing this culture. about a third of which will represent erotic acts or childbirth, which I love.
Awesome.
So there's one.
Are these like wood carvings or like?
No, I believe it's ceramic.
Oh, you said carbon fiber. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So this one dick gets mildly vandalized, and he's like, "We're putting up 30 more."
Let that be a lesson to you, fellas, right? You go take down one big dick, you're gonna have 30 more
That's
following.
how it works.
That's this. That's science, Jackie.
When you knock on the side, so you punch a hole in the side of this big dick tip, you don't know what's getting released into the air.
Right? What they did without knowing it, without actually knocking down the dick, they actually did tip over a domino of dicks. And they're going to see the effects. Exactly. They're going to see the effects from this. You know what I mean? I've for years to come, I imagine.
Yeah. And so in this culture, these sorts of statues aren't considered sexual, but they represent like their god or whatever.
Sure. Yeah. It's just a guy with a 9-foot cock, Jackie. You don't have to make it sexual.
You know what's hilarious there? So this mayor, I'm just like reading parts of this article for the first time. Fun fact, this mayor worked as a gynecologist before entering local politics.
See, Jackie, this is the kind of
like there's nothing sexual.
This is the kind of public service I mean. He's like, guys, I made a living off of looking at puss. All right, there's nothing weird about the giant dick that I'm putting in the town square. You know what I mean? We need to start thinking about our culture. We need to start representing our history. I love this so much, and I am for. I think this mayor should, run for a higher office.
Yeah, as Peruvians.
President of the world, maybe.
Yeah. And then the Peru's culture minister said, as Peruvians, we should all feel proud of our diverse heritage, including the sexual or erotic parts, which is inherent to human being. Fuck yeah.
Into that. I'm super into that.
And then she added that while nothing justifies the violence against the security guard, greater efforts to explain the cultural significance of the statue to the local population might help avoid further events such as this.
It's about education. It's the same thing with anything. I think that's a really good stance that they're going to try to take, right?
Yeah.
Rather than, you know what I mean, like fire and brimstone or whatever. It's like, hey, let's show everybody pictures of fucking and how much fun it is.
Yeah.
And then we can, put up these like wicked cool statues.
Yeah.
And everybody can just get back to doing their thing. I think, like, you know what I mean? I'm cool with.
Yeah. I remember when I went to Cuba, I was in grade 9. So how old is that? Like 14.
Not old enough.
15, like 15. Yeah, I was super young. I was 15 because I remember because in Cuba the drinking age is like 16. I remember I couldn't even drink there yet.
Oh wow, okay.
So I was probably 15. And at that time, you know, when you're like a kid, or for me anyways, when I was like younger, whenever I would go places, I felt the need to bring back little gifts for like all of my friends.
No, you care about people too much. I don't do that.
I would always do that, but
I come back with stories.
Yeah, and it would always be like the cheapest. Like the times I went.
I've also never been to like Mexico or like anybody like. Cool.
Yeah, it would
like
always
Vancouver.
just be like cheap, like little touristy things.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the times I went to New York, I just buy everyone a.
I love New York t-shirt. Or something.
Yeah, but I remember when I went to Cuba, they had all these fucking. One of the markets we went to had all these little ceramic, like ceramic. Sculptures of frogs fucking, and so I just bought like fucking 5 of them.
That's
and
awesome.
Just handed them out.
Little doggy style frogs.
I don't remember. There was
one on her back, like, 'cause that's cool.
I do remember one of them, like the male, or I don't know if it was the male or female frog. One of them was kind of like leaning back like this, and the other one was like going down on them.
Decent.
And they were like sitting on a log.
Oh.
Yeah, I believe all of them. They were the sexual acts were taking place
on or over
upon
the log.
A log.
It's good, you want something in there that kind of help you up, right?
Yeah.
Assist, aid a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I'm a tall guy. I don't mind, I mean, I have like a little height.
I forget who I gave. I know one of them went to Brittany Peebles. She definitely isn't watching this, but
Brittany
I'll
Beebles,
reach out
if you have,
because it was semi recently. Because we were close in middle school, then she moved away, and we haven't really kept touch. But every once in a while,
Nobody
I hear from
throws
her.
away a blowjob frog.
And it was
sculpture,
like
though,
semi
right?
recently that I received a photo from her, being like, "I still have this," but I don't know because my memory is all fucked up. I don't know if semi recently was like a year ago or if it was like 5 years ago.
Shout out to ECT and concussions, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're dealing with here.
CTE.
Is it CTE? Shout out to dyslexia as well, apparently. I don't know. I'm not saying like you don't come here, for the facts, right? You come here for the truth as we see it. And I believe those former statements or those past statements to be true.
Yeah.
And
I don't have CTE. But if you suddenly have a violent death, who's to say?
This bitch is going to kill me. Do you imagine if you're just like Antonio Brown, a motherfucker?
Yeah.
Like you just like beat the shit out of me in an elevator?
What's his name? What's the football player? Aaron
Hernandez.
Aaron Hernandez.
That
yeah.
one's wilder.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure. You're gonna Hernandez me, kill me and two of my buds?
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways, I digress. Yeah. I should reach out and see if she has that still, or even if she has a photo of that still. Of that the frog statue. But yeah.
We're still on the frog?
But yeah, so in like Cuba, I remember there were all sorts of they weren't really fertility. They were just like fucking.
Jackie, there's nothing about this is fertility. Yeah, it's so 15-year-old girls could be like, this is hilarious, and buy 5 of them to bring home to their friends. This is not about like cultural fertility or like this is like the sustenance or the sustaining the human race.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like a hypersexual, like from ages like fucking 13 to 16.
I lost my virginity twice in the same day when I was 13. Jackie. You were 2 peas in a pod there, kid. 2 peas in a gross, just looby, sweaty, humid little pod.
Do you remember that thing they had on Facebook where it was like you would vote people? It was like Facebook used to have these kind of like games within it or apps within it, and you would vote people on your friends list, like funniest, prettiest, smartest, whatever.
No.
I'm gonna have to ask people what the name of this was, but it was this thing on Facebook that just everyone had on their Facebook, and you voted people on your friends list.
Sure.
And I remember, like, I never really ranked on any of them except funniest, and then people could like comment. So the rankings would come out and people could comment on the rankings. And I don't know if I was like ranked like first fun. I was in like top 3 or whatever. I remember someone
other 2 bitches.
Yeah, I remember like someone commented like, all she does is talk about dicks. That's not funny. And I was like fucking 14. And it was like an anonymous comment too. Like I didn't know who
just bitch has all she. Oh my god. Yeah. That's hilarious because I've seen your act.
Lots of people would beg to differ now. People would pay money to hear me talk about dicks.
It's just so cool that like I think like a lot of the stuff that like I thought that was funny at like 15, I've had to kind of like like to look at things like a different way and be like, no, there's still like there's still a comedy in here, but. But like, what's like the way that I'm gonna like approach it or whatever? You no, dicks straight ahead.
It was pretty like juvenile back in the day. We would fucking draw. Oh dear, I don't know if I want to talk about this.
We can move forward. We can move forward. We can move forward.
Later.
Yeah,
I'll tell you later.
It's totally fine. I'll tell you guys later too.
Talk about our artistic renderings.
Yeah, Jackie, can we talk about Elton John?
Okay.
We're 40 minutes in here. We're 40 minutes in, Jackie.
We'll get into the album.
I'm trying, you guys.
Okay. Flip the page. Okay. The album for today, as we've mentioned.
I thought that you were going to continue with the article. That would have been fucking hilarious.
So what we used to draw, it was...
No.
Okay.
Tumbleweed Connection.
Okay. The album for today, as previously mentioned, is just stop. It's Tumbleweed Connection by Elton John. It's his third studio album, released in 1970. As we said, it's a concept album that's based on like country western, like Americana themes. And so this he started recording.
It's my girl.
Yeah. So the recording for this album,
guys, I think we got Jackie drunk on the last episode.
I've had literally one.
I know.
Cider.
I'm watching you.
I'm not even drunk.
I've watched
have the
you
giggles.
put back so much alcohol, like compete with me drink for drink on nights. I fucking weighed 200 pounds more than you. Actually, I only weigh like 200 some odd pounds, but I a significant amount.
No, I'm fine. I'm just
She
have
got
the
the
giggles.
giggles.
Yeah. Okay. So they started recording this album just like weeks after his previous album came out, which was his self-titled sophomore album. And it had the single Your Song, which is you can tell anybody this is your song, you know.
Nope.
They had it and they covered it in Moulin Rouge.
Okay.
Ewan McGregor sings it to Nicole Kidman.
Well, then, like,
that
was probably
probably
a fantastic performance. Like, I was super into that movie when you showed it to me.
I was probably like singing over it.
Yeah. I didn't watch so much. I didn't watch Moulin Rouge so much as I watched you perform along to it in front of the TV. So it was thoroughly enjoyable.
But Your Song is a very popular song that's been covered like millions of times.
Okay.
And that was on his second album. And so that's already very like orchestra, strings, like it's a whole production.
Okay.
And so he starts recording this album weeks after that album comes out.
And he's like tired of all the bullshit.
Yeah,
Tired
so
of all
it's
these orchestra cocks.
Yeah, recorded at the same studio in London. It's a much more low key vibe. And so right before it came out, Elton John said that it may surprise quite a lot of people, but if I'd done another orchestral album, I reckon I'd have been labeled for the rest of my life. And so it's kind of like similar to what we were talking about with POS. We're just like constantly like redefining yourself.
Yeah.
And like doing it consciously
totally
for yourself, not to be more commercial or whatever.
Do you have
like
any idea what the critical response was? Because I mean, POS being an underground kind of artist for more or less, well, for more definitely, but like with Elton John, obviously, was he at the height of his fame here? Or
not at the height. This is his third album,
but still, like you know what I mean. Definitely like the young rising star.
Yeah, so this is before he became this mega pop star. So it was before the glasses and the costumes and all of that. But
it's hard to put a timeline on it. But if you do like this, something like that at the beginning of your career before you become like,
but that being said,
like something like there's only like Elton John's like fucking like Prince, Madonna. Exactly, you know what I mean? There's only like a few of these like you know what I mean, like ultra stars that have like kind of maintained for, you know, over the course of years. I think when you do those, like if he made that decision weeks after his second album came out, orchestral, big, I imagine, to something like a little bit, not only more stripped down, like completely, you know, of a different kind of like era or culture. And if it was received well, then like then you can kind of see like that's, you know, now every star is kind of like they all seem so fake. Everybody seems kind of pieced together, or doing it for whatever reason, right? There's a few like artists, especially like in the pop sphere, that seem to be like making music for themselves. Yeah, you know what I mean? So like if he was gonna like make that jump or whatever and do it because he wanted to do it at that time, then like that's pretty fucking cool. Yeah,
and like his second album was big. Like he already had made a name for himself with his first two albums. Like that song Your Song is a huge single to this day. It's a huge
late
fucking
60s.
song.
So this came out 1970.
Yeah,
and
like massive song. Like
that's rad. Yeah, no.
And so then he came up with something completely fucking different, and he
I
did it
respect
because
the shit out of it. If I was a fan of his like first 2 albums, it would be awesome because I would love to see how I would be like so upset with this release. You know what I mean? Like I think about
it
that
was
so
very
much.
well received.
Oh,
But and even if you look at like his career through the years, this kind of it has been a theme that he's always done whatever the fuck he wants to do. It's
Alicia
always
Keys wears whatever the fuck Alicia Keys wants to
exactly.
wear.
And Elton John makes whatever fucking music he wants to make. And like
Shout
it
out
is
to Stan.
always, and like he so even if you look at like in it's not even recent years now, but way later
This is
in
20 years ago. This is 90s, early 2000s.
way later
Eminem,
in
like with
his
the
career.
Grammys that we're talking about.
Yeah, but it not even just like the Stan performance at the Grammys, but that he like forged a friendship with Eminem at a time when everyone was calling Eminem a homophobic piece of shit. And he like remains friends with Eminem to this day, and he became like a mentor for him to like help him through like his like addictions and stuff. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. Like they were like, but still are.
Cool.
And and Eminem has called him like a mentor when he was like kind of struggling with addictions, trying to get out of it because Elton John had been through
sucked.
that. Yeah.
Like Eminem became like the biggest, like, I mean, he was already like the biggest like rap star in the world, and then that Elton John kind of thing came out, and it was cool because like you could see like that defining line is like, okay, we need to stop talking about what like the content of what people are saying and start focusing on art. You know what I mean? And if somebody like that can come in and be like, no, I understand where he's, like where he's coming from, what he's, you know what I mean? Like for like
and the fact that it wasn't like just a performance, like it wasn't just like this is going to shock people. The fact that he actually like formed a friendship with him.
I watched it live when I was a kid. I remember it, and like Elton John is like you knew that it was coming up. I believe they like announced it or something. Like the Grammys, like coming up. I mean Elton John and Eminem are performing. I believe they had mentioned something like that it was going to happen. But Eminem comes out and does the like the opening like thing of Stan or whatever. Yeah. And then instead of Dido, it's like the reveal of Elton John like kind of comes around and shit, and like everybody like fucking like went nuts. And I remember like I was pretty young at the time and definitely an Eminem fan, more than like an Elton John fan, but I was doing some shit. You know what I mean? That was more Elton John than it was Eminem. So, you know what I mean? There was like, I would get goosebumps like thinking about like, you know what I mean? Like that moment.
Yeah,
you know I mean? Right?
And it was genuine. And I feel like he's always
I
been
thought
like
that as like a
authentic.
13 or as a 12, 13-year-old kid or whatever, when I saw that performance, I was like, oh shit, everybody needs to shut the fuck up because these guys are cool. But like it becomes, I think that was like thinking back, that's one of like those polarizing moments from like what you consider to be art versus what the media tells you. You know what I mean? Like how to feel.
And I can't imagine. I mean, like maybe at that time it wasn't as bad, but I can't imagine if say it was a similar situation now and Elton John did that, the amount of criticism he would receive from his own community.
Now, oh my God.
Because of the representation that Eminem had.
Yep.
And I imagine there was lots of that then as well.
That's a really interesting point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he was like, I don't like give a fuck,
What happened to Stonewall gays?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, man. Like I will fight for everybody's right to live freely and shit. But could everybody just get a little tougher?
Yeah. And so, Elton John has said that this album, lyrically and melodically, it's probably one of their most perfect albums. He says, I don't think there's any song on there that doesn't melodically fit the lyrics.
At the first listening, the only hang-ups that I had were the second track and I think the one right before the end. Second track didn't really grow on me. It's a little bit more ballady, and like the rest of the front album, like the front half of this album is really like country in a way that's not slow, fun, kind of like even the what's the third track? I was singing it for you when you came in here. Americana's the hit later on. Son of Your Father is
Country
really
Comfort.
good. Country Comfort is the shit. Like good old Country Comfort.
There are so many good like catchy sing-along
like,
tunes. Son of Your Father.
Yeah.
Country Comfort.
Is Son of Your Father a Childish Gambino song? Because I feel like
Son of Your Father.
You know what I mean, right? The
Try
lyrics.
a little bit harder.
Yeah, the
and
lyrics
the
are
other
so
one
close.
that's now they found me. Right. Yeah, they found me. It's hard to run From the storm.
Oh
yeah.
The idea that like there's a lot of like the blue collar stuff. There's thinking like in Country Comfort where they're talking about industry kind of changing and a factory getting another machine that's going to save labor costs by 15 men, and you know what I mean. So like from like the foreman's perspective, telling that to a worker, where the worker's like, wait a minute, that's 15 of my coworkers who just don't have a job now. You know what I mean? Like all of that stuff is so like ingrained in Americana and like blue collar kind of like working music, where it's not the stuff that I gravitated towards as a young kid, but as like an aging adult with like you know what I mean? Yeah. That has lived like, you know what I mean? Like a sincere blue collar life and stuff like that. Those lyrics will always get to me. Yeah. More than, you know, like a lot of anything else. It's always like hardship, and it's always, you know what I mean? It's about like, you know, how is the, you know, we're gonna have to fucking stand online for bread or whatever, right? That is like, I mean, obviously bread lines are, you know, they stretch generations and civilizations, but the like the idea of something so like specifically American coming from him is so,
the fact that he did it so well.
It's
and he was such a new artist at the time.
It's better than a lot of like it's better than a lot of Americans that write songs about that kind of shit. And it doesn't
feel like he's trying to sort of it doesn't feel like
it's just a good heartfelt song.
It feels like very like authentic.
It does.
It feels like the lyrics
exactly. Are coming. That's a fucking great point, because authenticity is so goddamn important to us. And when I'm listening to this, that's what's so funny about this album. Is that there's nothing authentic about it, but it's so good. You know
like the storytelling is so good.
This motherfucker has. I've been watching The Americans. Go check out The Americans, about spies and espionage. Great fucking show. This is a fucking spy. Exactly. This fucking album has a fucking mustache on and glasses and shit, and it's just fronting like it's been in Kansas City the whole time. Yeah. And it was really cool because a lot of like too hard up country stuff, it's regional, and there's some like twang to it, and there's like, you know what I mean, there's a lot of like country that I don't really go for. There's a lot of country that I do go for, lyrically speaking, like kind of like outlaw, you know what I mean, kind of shit or whatever, right? This one kind of like just like rides a fucking line in between. I think it's because like maybe not so much like lyrically speaking, but like the total package of like of lyrics and the songwriting itself is just like, you know, I want to shit on a record on this show. I want to shit on a record on this show really bad. And I probably fucking said a few negative things about some stuff, but like this one at the end of the end of the listen, both listens, I'm like, fuck. Like I said, there's a bonus. Yeah. Songs on Spotify or whatever. I listen to all those too. Piano demos and shit like that.
And and it sold really quickly when it came out. Did really well. A lot of critics have called it a near perfect album and one of the best country rock albums of all time.
It's not Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
Come on.
And so so some background for those of you who maybe don't know about like Elton John's writing. So he actually has a writing partner who writes his lyrics. And so basically the story behind that,
all of them?
In 1967, Elton John answered an advertisement for talent that was placed in a newspaper by Liberty Records, and Bernie Taupin, I think I pronounced that correctly, I apologize if I'm not, answered the same advertisement, and neither Taupin nor Elton John passed the audition for Liberty Records. And then Elton told like the man at the front behind the desk that he can't write lyrics. And so the man handed Elton a sealed envelope from a pile of people who were submitting lyrics. And
just give this guy a fucking call.
And so he opened up this envelope on like the train ride home, and the envelope contained poems by Bernie Taupin, and they've been writing partners ever since. And so,
holy shit.
Yeah, and so Elton John has said it's the longest relationship he's had with anyone ever, 50 plus years, like his whole career.
To this day.
So this advertisement that they both answered, it was
Does he wear crazy shit too?
No. But they're like fucking best friends. Like they're adorable.
Does Bernie get 50% of Elton John money?
They
no fucking
yeah.
Really?
They definitely like. I don't know if it's 50%, but they have a very, very good relationship. So Elton definitely is not holding anything from him. Like he gets what he's earned.
That's the best fucking job in the world,
right?
Man.
And so
Bernie is killing.
Yeah, and so he's written the vast majority of Elton John's lyrics. Like all of those hit songs you can think of, Bernie wrote those lyrics.
Saturday, Bernie.
And so Elton does all of the musical composition.
I feel the burn.
But yeah, Bernie Taupin writes the lyrics. And so, which is like kind of weird
I'm
for
a lyric
like
guy. I love lyrics right up.
yeah, it's kind of weird to think about, especially if you don't know, because obviously when you think of hit songs, you think of the lyrics, and that's like associated with the person singing them, but it's not his lyrics. They're written for him by someone he's very close with, but he writes the music and Bernie writes the lyrics. And so do you think that like takes away from like Elton John's like artistry?
It doesn't from Elton John, weirdly enough. In hip hop, I think it's very important.
Yeah, it's a different medium
for sure, but Eazy-E, like, but hip hop evolved to what it is today, right? So when NWA came out, it was more of like, I mean, there was already technical rappers and good stuff. They wanted to like do something, you know, different, and they did, right? They fucking got on an FBI watch list and crazy shit like that or whatever. Eazy-E was the first breakout star of NWA, right? Dr. Dre was there, Ice Cube was there, absolutely. MC Ren and Yella still never really fucking broke through. Sorry, boys. But Eazy-E being the first, like the first star that was really pushed forward from NWA, and I believe Eazy-E's album came out maybe even before Straight Outta Compton or shortly thereafter. He was the one that was like kind of pushed forward, even though Ice Cube to this day still, well, I mean, obviously Eazy's not around, but you know what I mean? Ice Cube is obviously like a driving force, you know what I mean? He has the face, he has the voice, and the lyrical skill. Ice Cube wrote 90% of the words that Eazy ever fucking, you know, like rapped or whatever on NWA records. And even when NWA starts to do like real motherfucking G's, and they start to with Jerry Heller and all the money and everything kind of like went sideways when NWA starts to break up.
Yeah.
I really don't think Eazy-E wrote the lyrics to real motherfucking G's either. It was probably more of like an MC Ren thing or something like that. Now, you got a guy like P. Diddy. There's a Royce to 5'9", fantastic rappers. Eminem's friend from Detroit. He was like one of the only features on Eminem's first album, the fucking song named Bad Meets Evil, which is fantastic. Royce 5'9's great fucking rapper. He, on one of his songs on one of his albums that I'm listening to, he's like, you know, he makes money on the side ghostwriting for other people, right? So even for like a rapper to announce that is like, okay, fair enough, but to announce who you're ghostwriting for is kind of weird as well, right? Because like people want to like to maintain that exactly that thing, right? But it's pretty cool in hip hop too, because like you're talking shit, so he's like, I ghostwrite if I want to, I can let Diddy diss you, like, which is pretty funny, you know what I mean? So for like that, so it doesn't really matter like who's putting the thing out, if at the end of the day it's whoever penned it has the final say in that sense. But at the end of the day, not as many people are going to hear that Royce song as going to hear that Diddy song, that even though that he worked on. So I think for me, in a situation where like your individual like personality is what drives like, you know, like all the art that you make, then if you're not writing your own songs, then that could be like an issue for me. In an Elton John situation, I don't necessarily care. Like, I mean, if it was Elton and Bernie, but Bernie doesn't play any fucking instruments or perform live.
Well, yeah, and I think that's so the
like
thing
if that
like
was a thing, if they were a two-piece, it'd make more sense. But
their like partnership is so unique. So yeah, I think for like hip hop, it's kind of different because that genre is so lyrically driven.
Exactly.
Where it's almost off-putting. When you know it's someone else's words.
If you're saying something so fucking emphatically, like this is what I fucking believe, and you're not the guy that fucking wrote it, then what the fuck are you doing?
The music,
it seems weird, right?
Well, like obviously the genre has evolved, but especially at its roots, that music is so lyrically forward, and like the actual musical part of it kind of takes like a second, and obviously that's a generalization, but
we generalize a lot on the show though, so that's fine.
Yeah, and especially now hip hop has evolved. If you look at fucking Childish Gambino, like the music is
to what huge, it is. I mean, hip hop is an umbrella like rock and roll is now. You know what I mean? Like it can span to like death metal to punk.
But I think if you look at like Elton John's music, and it's such like a unique partnership because they write like together. So like Bernie will write the lyrics and Elton will compose music to go along with it, or vice versa. And Bernie and Elton have a 50+ year friendship, and so it's not like you're just writing for a stranger. Like he's writing in Elton's voice.
There's not a camp of people that are 50 people that are just cranking out songs for Elton to do. Like it's a
partnership.
I imagine
and
it's very collaborative too. Like this is what they want to talk about.
Totally.
Sure, you know?
And like the genre of music he does, the musical composition is just as big a part of it as the lyrics.
Fuck yeah, that's why you can't say one way or the other, right?
And
because
like he's sitting there on the fucking piano, like you can't take away from his
just
skills.
Raking and shit and like not doing anything. Like if he was just up there kind of like I don't know, like I don't want to take anything away from like any like pop star, but when I was a kid you'd see like George Michael performing it, gotta have faith.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
or like Elton
John
the whole time is on the fucking piano,
working.
like he's working, like he's not, right? No one is feeding him anything.
Yeah, and I should know George Michael. I'm sure he was a great performer or whatever.
But
there was something that was, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of like or even like female pop stars and stuff right now. They can really just come out and like back in the day, like when Britney Spears was doing "Slave for You" with a fucking you know, like a whole dance that she was like kind of like a part of. When you see like kind of performances now, it's just kind of like phoned in, just like a girl in high heels and a microphone. That's not like dancing with the background dancers like Janet was and shit like that or whatever. Right? I think there's like a level of performance that, you know, that like that it's needed in pop, but there's also like does Carrie Underwood, who writes those songs, need to fucking dance with those people as well? So I don't know. It's hard to say, right? Everybody's like each individual pop star or whatever has to like craft their thing, and I'm not mad at Elton or whatever, even though he fucking probably created just like a laundry list of shit. He created the like some of this is what like the genre of music that I love was railing against.
You know what I mean? It's like weird to think about that, like pop stars like back in like when I was a kid, such a big part of it was the dancing. Like if you,
so bad, Jackie, I'm sorry.
We can pause. I have to pee as well.
Oh.
Roses are red, violets are blue.
I've heard that.
We love shaved balls.
That we do.
How about you? Valentine's Day is coming, and we know just the gift to give that special someone for any and all special occasions. This V-Day, it's time to give them a gift that 4 million men worldwide trust from Manscaped, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming. Use our exclusive offer and go to manscaped.com and use code SHOWMEYOURS for 20% off and free shipping. Now, I don't need to tell you how much the man in my life loves Manscaped. All right? We've heard all about Jonny's balls.
I've only told you a little bit, Jackie. Like, I feel like I've only scratched the surface of where I can go with actually just like professing my love. You know, not only for the product, but for what it does for me, what it does for my confidence, what it does for you.
Yeah, you know? Love that ball deodorant. Let me tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know, the holidays went by so quickly, and if you didn't give him a gift he really wanted, make sure you get it right this time with the Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped. It's the gift every guy needs in their life to make each and every day just a little more special. And you know the product he's going to absolutely love? Well, it's the Lawnmower 4.0 that comes in this package. Their electric trimmer is designed to trim the hair on loose skin. And get this, the trimmer's advanced skin-safe technology reduces cuts and nicks on his delicate balls.
It does, Jax. It does. I've used a bunch of other products. I was a straight razor guy for a long time. You know what I mean, right? My balls... It's not a sack of leather. It's not, right?
Yeah.
Tender, you know what I mean, and it's very easy to nick. You don't really have that problem anymore. Like, drastically reduced.
Yeah,
so
and it
fantastic.
even has a 4000K LED spotlight, so you can shave anywhere your heart desires.
I've done it in the dark.
Yeah, in this chair. And did I mention it's waterproof too?
You should have.
Now he can shave anything and everything in the shower, so you can say goodbye to any left behind hair in the sink. We hate that. This package also includes the Weed Whacker, nose and ear hair trimmer to whack all the worst of his weeds. And Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts: their shed travel bag and anti-chafing boxer briefs to keep his boys stored comfortably.
And it looks good.
Yeah, and so treat him and yourself to the formulations and the products that will have him smelling and looking good. So Manscaped creates products that he's actually going to use after Valentine's Day. So go to manscaped.com for our exclusive offer of 20% off and free shipping with the code SHOWMEYOURS. This is exclusive to you, Flashers. His balls will thank you. So once again, that's 20% off and free shipping with the code SHOWMEYOURS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with the code SHOWMEYOURS. All one word, all caps. Gift his Cupid an arrow from Manscaped this Valentine's Day.
And we're back.
And we're back. I feel like I had a thought. I was just going to say it's weird that like when I was a kid, such a big part of pop music was the dancing.
Yes.
Like if you look at Justin Timberlake, Usher,
make you want to get hopped up, feel it when you're
Britney
body
Spears,
I think that like the choreograph,
Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson, like they all like dancing was such a huge part of it. And now it's kind of like they're either gonna just like stand in one spot or they're gonna try to do some sort of lame dance.
People go to TikTok for dance now, and it's fucking bullshit. I think that like growing up, dancing was like not something that I do, but like obviously like as like a fan of hip hop or something, like breaking became, you're like, oh, it's like you can like appreciate like like higher levels of like difficulty, like what people are doing and shit. But then when you see it choreographed like a 5-person dance on like an MTV Video Award stage, you're like, this is such dog shit and trash. Like, so like I've never really gotten into it, but then like there's there's obviously like you see like Bruno Mars do like the Super Bowl halftime show, and when he like jumps into like the like just like super cool and shit like that.
Fucking Beyonce.
Like, come on, Queen Bee. We're gonna talk about the beat. So like I get it, like so like it's really
and
tough.
It adds to the performance.
I think that like for us to say blanket statement like it's good or bad is different, because like you need to like each individual performance just gets taken.
Yeah, I think it just makes them stand out as performers.
Oh, big time.
Rather than just pop artists. They're like talented performers.
Oh yeah. Like say what you will about Britney, but when she came down the stairs with that snake on her fucking thing.
She's an incredibly talented dancer. Justin Timberlake, Usher.
Yeah, but like if I go see like Christina and like Christina's not moving and shit like that, I'm fine with that, because the voice makes up for like the stage show.
Exactly, yeah.
Right? I think that like so like in a pop situation, I think like even they're so heavily managed and heavily produced and stuff like that decision is made like way before, right? If like you let your talent shine through.
I just like fucking love watching dancing. I don't know if maybe it's because like I did dance for so long, and so like I know like how fucking hard it is, because I was I wasn't a good dancer just because I did it for so long, but I wasn't like naturally gifted at it.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, sure.
But yeah, and it's just like fun to watch. But all right, so Elton John owns over 1,000 pairs of glasses. And so he started wearing them to emulate one of his idols, Buddy Holly. Even though he didn't
Tell me
need
Elton
glasses.
John doesn't have a prescription.
So at first he did not. He started wearing them as like an homage to Buddy Holly. Sure. But now he needs glasses. Probably from fucking wearing glasses.
Could you imagine you're like an optometrist and you get a call from Elton and he's like, I need to get 1,000 pairs of these things fitted with some lenses. I'd be like, fuck. Yeah,
all different styles. And so in 2013, there was a rumor that he always books a second hotel room just to store his glasses in, which he has denied. And so when we inevitably reach Elton John level of fame,
absolutely,
what sort of wild rumor like this would you want to circulate about yourself?
There's going to be a lot of rumors circulating about me.
But one that like, say if you could choose one to have circulate, that's like that's fun, like
this. Yeah, that's fun, because like I wouldn't like, because I'm not a fucking, like, I'm so easy.
Mm-hmm.
If I move to like a different part of town, like I don't have like a favorite place. Like I won't go out of my way, you know, further to get like the best sandwich. If I live next to like the 5th best sandwich in town, I'll just get that.
Yeah.
So like pretty easy as far as that goes. Like, so like if I had like a rider, like a case of beer and a bottle of whiskey or something like that, would be on it. So like it'd be like that's.
But not necessarily something that you'd want, just like a rumor
if
of
the
like
rumor
something
that went down that would probably be true is that I like my own space and I like to like isolate a little bit, but I also am a social butterfly. So like if the rumor about me that went on is like every time Jonny does a show in town, there's like a separate room going just for his friends to party. And then I'm just like doing my own thing and I can like come and touch back down there anytime I want and fuck off. That might not be a rumor. That just might be something that I set up to do because like that sounds awesome. Yeah. But like there's like there's a point in the night where I'm just like, we need to cuddle. Yeah. Let's get these fucking assholes out of here. Yeah. But a lot of times that's just like we're still in our place. It's like we have to like kick everybody out. Yes. Not cool. Right? So like if that was the case, then yeah, I would probably like rent an entire floor. You know, for like all kinds of crazy shit happens. Sax Dungeon over here in 01. You know what I mean? You know, butt naked, like, you know, fucking peanut butter wrestling contest over there, right? Everybody thinks that KY jelly is what you get into like a tub and wrestle with. No, you want peanut butter all day, right? Like a nice, like a nice, like warm a nice warm jiff. So like if I could do something like that, then like that would probably be it. But more realistically, the rumors would be about, you know, drug use and infidelity, I'm sure. Right. You know, that's what they're going to say about the kid. That's what they're going to say. None of those are true. He's not the infidelity. Just keep digging. No, the drug use will definitely be true. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm simple, right? Like really all I want is the check and I want to perform. So
yeah. But I think in like terms of like just like a crazy rumor that like people said about you,
they would say that I actually don't have a butthole. That it's just like like so that would be the rumor would be like that I'm like omniscient. You know what I mean? And I run at like 100% efficiency, like Dennis Reynolds in that It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode, right? Like you don't have to pee or poo at all if your body's running on 100% efficiency. Right. Taking everything in and just burning it off. Nice. You know what I mean? Still have to pee the beer out, so I'll probably keep my dick.
Nice.
But yeah.
I think if I were to choose a rumor about myself to go around, it would just be that I have like 100 versions of the same wig. And like really, I just have like bleach blonde hair.
Fucking way better answer. That's a fucking awesome answer. Like you walk in and it's like you know, like I've never been into one of these stores, but you see it in like movies and shit where they do like a heist or whatever, like you just like a really high end kind of like fashion store. Like every time we go to a place to perform, an entire hotel room was just gutted to look like a Louis Vuitton store that just has like mannequins set up with all like 100 of them, but with all the exact same wig.
Yeah, exactly. So like that's similar cool to like the rumor of Elton John always getting a second room for his sunglasses. Mine would be I always get a second room for my wigs, and but it's all just like unstyled, like kind of like a mess of like
of Jackie of hair,
like brown hair, and it's just all the exact same. And no, not even that my hair is blonde, is that my hair looks like this, but I just wear wigs over top of it that look exactly the same.
That's awesome. That's so much fucking cooler than mine. Mine is like fucking just like, oh, fucking rock and roll. That guy's gonna die pretty soon. Yours is like, this is the weirdest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Okay, final question. So, Elton John and Rod Stewart allegedly have a fierce rivalry.
Rod Stewart's losing that fucking battle.
This is so good. Elton once hired a sniper to shoot down balloons that Rod Stewart had launched into the sky to promote a concert.
Is that true?
when Rod put up a huge banner for his Blondes Have More Fun tour, Elton put up a banner on a building across the street that said, "But brunettes make more money." he also
oh, you catty bitch.
he also has feuded with Madonna in 2004
In 2004,
when
they were
he
under.
accepted the Best Classic Songwriter Award at the Q Awards.
That should have went. To
Yeah,
the
which is
song.
ironic.
Yeah.
He said in his speech, because I guess Madonna won like Best Live Act or whatever.
Fuck yeah.
So he said in his speech, "Madonna, Best Fucking Live Act? Fuck off. Since when has lip syncing been live? Sorry about that, but I think everyone who lip syncs on stage in public when you pay like 75 quid to see them should be shot. Thank you very much. That's me off her fucking Christmas card list, but do I give a toss? No."
But do I give a toss?
Elton,
I mean,
he is a master feuder.
I think that there's something to be said about
Mm-hmm.
caring about your art and and speaking to it, and that's some rap beef shit.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
I love this
I
ass.
don't mind that at all.
I
You know,
encourage
it's so funny
it.
because okay, Suge Knight at
Okay,
the
well,
Source
okay.
Awards.
So wait, the question is,
Jackie, I want to tell you about
what's
Suge Knight at
yeah,
the
yeah,
Source
but it's gonna. I'm gonna get the
I'm just
question out
fucking with
first,
you.
but you're gonna say the same thing and it's gonna work. It's what's your favorite famous feud or your famous clapback?
Famous clap. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that the East Coast West Coast like hip hop beef was obviously like the thing. I was just a kid when I saw it. It was like it encapsulated like everything. Nothing in pop culture mattered anymore because for better or worse or whatever, like the two best rappers in the world were going at each other, and I was just a kid, just hearing about it, and then kind of like coming into it was like 4 years after all that feuding that I really actually started like listening to the music. When you're in New York City at the Source Awards and there's violence happening there, like shit got wild at that thing, and Suge Knight goes up to the microphone to accept an award, and his acceptance speech is basically calling out Bad Boy Entertainment and Puff Daddy exclusively because like Tupac and Biggie were going at each other, but Suge Knight makes it a thing to like go after the record labels, right? So he owns Death Row Records at the time, and he says about Diddy, because if you look at all those like old videos and stuff like that, Diddy's always dancing in the thing like you know what I mean, like in crazy fucking like suits and shit like that, and Suge just goes up there and he's like, anybody in New York, if you want somebody that's actually gonna like promote your record, you don't want to have your producer like singing and dancing in the video and shit, come to Death Row. It's just like the coolest, you know what I mean, like that one to me. And like Suge Knight's a piece of shit, and like he shook up so much fucking shit in the world. If it wasn't for Suge Knight, then like two of the best rappers in the world would like they were on their path to like they were already established artists.
Still be alive.
100%.
Isn't he in jail or was that?
I think he's
okay.
He like ran a guy over or something.
Yeah,
like
it was unrelated.
I showed you that. I remember when it happened.
Assassination he
showed
orchestrated.
Exactly. I remember me showing it too. I love, but there's like so much lore that goes like in between that, even like posthumously or whatever. The first album I believe that Tupac released like right after his death, it was like on its way to being released. Machiavelli, the 7 Day Theory, and the second track on that album has a song called Bomb First, and it's fantastic. And at the
How
very
the fuck
beginning,
is Suge Knight still alive? Like I feel like everyone hates him.
Yeah,
It's
but
probably because he's in jail.
well, no, because like he just went to jail like a couple years ago, Jackie.
Right.
I think like he's been like in that life and in that like area for like long enough that you know what I mean. You have to establish some kind of
Right.
like loyalty, or people are just like not gonna fuck with you, and then maybe he's not as like heavily ingrained in the street shit or whatever that he said he was, that somebody's actually gonna come and fucking shoot him like after the fact. Like I don't necessarily know what it is, but I think it becomes like money. Right. What it all comes down to is money, because if anybody actually gave a shit, then they would like want revenge or like do something. You know what I mean? Right. At the end of the day, like once like those like cash cows die and it like runs out, then like
no one gives a fuck about.
Right. Exactly. Right. He's a fucking like as soon as Tupac died, that label like pretty well fucking imploded.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it probably took like a couple years or whatever, still having like you know, other artists on it, but Snoop Dogg, like Tupac was trying to get paid. Snoop Dogg was trying to get paid. Like, you know what I mean? So like when Master P from No Limit Records buys Snoop out of his fucking contract, like goes and gives Suge Knight like $1 million straight up just to get Snoop out of that fucking contract and shit. Like all of that stuff was happening because that business was failing. And then, you know, you have people that are in the music industry that are like, no, Snoop is a fucking still a rising star. Right? You know what I mean? He beat the murder case and like all of that shit or whatever, right? Snoop's as hot as he could ever been. You know, so like all of that stuff, there's it's all fascinating, and it's just an interesting, you know, it's like Watergate, right? Every couple of years I go back to be like, what the fuck happened at Watergate? It's like kind of, because it's so interesting. But like there's some of those, but there's also some, like in rap there's also like, because like Madonna and Elton John is just funny. So I think like the funny one for me is when Bone Thugs and Harmony dissed Nelly, because there's a point in hip hop where like everybody was like, they're biting style. Now everybody sounds the fucking same and nobody cares. But there was a fucking time where originality was key, and there was a time where the Bone Thugs and Harmony thought Nelly listen to East 1999, listen to Country Grammar, and tell me that those two fucking albums are anything alike. There was a time the Bone Thugs thought Nelly was coming after them, and they gave a fucking very strong fuck you to him. And there's a bunch of those throughout hip hop throughout the years that are just like always hilarious to me, where it's like, don't be coming over here, motherfucker. And it's like, say what you will about the Bone Thugs and Harmony, but I think Nelly's, you know, 1996.
I just like love the sassiness and like the fact, I love it when people go to extreme lengths to do something so like petty. Awesome. Like fucking hiring a sniper to shoot down balloons.
That's the coolest shit.
So
that's
fucking funny.
The most fucking rock and roll thing that anybody's ever fucking done.
And I just love that, like, not giving a shit attitude, because like I can definitely be like pretty catty, but I very, very rarely do it publicly.
Yeah,
like
that's true,
Stone
cold bitch to
it
me.
takes it takes a lot for me to actually like say something to someone,
that
because for the most part I'm like, it's not worth it. But like in my head, like I can, like behind people's backs, I can be very like catty, and I just think it's funny.
It's good times,
but just like the balls to like do something like that, to decide that it's worth it to hire a fucking sniper to shoot down balloons.
Jackie, there's so much more that goes into that, because like first of all, like discharging a firearm in public so like it's just going up to like Elton John's, like you're committing like a litany of crimes and offenses here by just setting up a fucking sniper rifle and shooting it into the fucking sky.
I wonder what the situation was.
I need to know more about that, because like that's awesome.
And like the banner, like brunettes make more money, and just like that. My favorite thing though is that fucking like speech that he made about Madonna, where he just like doesn't give a fuck. It's
dope.
like, I love that shit.
Because what did Rod Stewart ever fucking do?
So much. I forget like why but apparently they have like some sort of famous feud, and they've like kind of made up and then like fallen out again, and I think it's kind of like an ongoing thing. I'm not really sure why, but
did Elton want to be in Tootsie, or?
Yeah, that's
that was it. I should have been Tootsie.
But like I just like love like hearing people just like go there and just like say the shit that comes to their mind, especially when it's
Kanye
like
West. George Bush doesn't give a fuck about black people.
Exactly.
You know
Especially
you want to hear that moment, because you're just like, whoa.
It's because and that's a perfect example, especially when it's like crazy but also hilarious.
That's kind of true.
When you're like, exactly. When it's like true, and you're like,
shit like that. Fuck. Yeah, she's fucking lip syncing. He's saying it.
He's saying it.
That's the shit.
And it's so fun to like witness it, and you're just like,
it's just
but
bad
it's
bitch
like,
status.
oh
right?
man, and like the few times that I like have actually like said the shit that I was thinking, to like the fucking like my whole body shakes and you get like this rush, and then like saying it doesn't feel as good as like hearing it does.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Oh, totally.
Yeah,
because like you're in the fight right when you're saying it, but like when you shit on that girl at film school for not liking Adam Sandler, was like that moment where I'm like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Jackie's cool and shit like that. But then you're like, oh, Jackie will go to fucking war for some shit that she believes in, albeit Adam Sandler movies. But still, like,
Okay, it wasn't Adam Sandler movies.
oh, it
it
was
was
just Adam Sandler.
Sandler.
Because like we love Sandman over here.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
no, definitely not into it. But I'm sitting there watching you just give this girl the business, and I'm like, yeah, probably was as cool for you as it was for me.
Yeah, and I remember that my heart was like pounding, and afterwards I was like shaking, and then the whole rest of the class I was like thinking about it. I was like,
I know, I Flavor Flaved you throughout that thing too. I was out there like, I was like hype man, and you're like, yeah, another one. I was so hyped on that.
It's so funny because you think when you hear someone do it in your head, you're like, it's almost like your mirror neurons. You like feel like, oh, that must feel so good.
Well,
like
yeah,
it
but
feels so
also,
good
like,
listening.
but if there's like a cringe factor to it too, sometimes there's like I hear a lot of people that are like aren't doing it right. Where you're like,
well, yeah,
oh,
exactly.
like this is
it
the
has
way.
to be done right.
You know what I mean? But when it happens, when somebody's dropping that bomb, you're just like, oh, I'm so happy I'm in the room right now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And you're like, oh, like what a rush. Like I wish that was me saying it. But when you're the person saying it, for me anyways, it's like shaking and like your heart's beating. And you're like, it's like word vomit. And you're like, why am I saying this right now? It was like when a friend of ours like sent an email to someone, and like reading it, it was like I was getting like heart palpitations because it was like, holy fuck, this is amazing.
Your friend tells somebody to go fuck themselves. It shows you. You're like, oh, you did it.
Yeah,
you did it. It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's so fucking dope.
Yeah,
just keep telling everybody to go fuck themselves.
Yeah, say what's on your mind.
Especially if they deserve it.
If it's called for, then fucking say it. If it's just gonna cause.
In the spirit of this, man, be you. Say what the fuck you want to say. Do all
yeah,
that
if
shit,
you think something's worth
that.
being said, then say it. Even if like you don't enjoy it, it's gonna give like a lot of people around you a lot of pleasure. And so yeah.
So
that's
last
our
step in the room, babe.
last step in this studio.
We did a lot here.
Yeah.
We did a lot here. We found love in a hopeless place. And
it's been a journey.
It's been a journey, but we're gonna see you next week with we got a couple banked up and shit, but the next
we're
one that
gonna
we
see you
get back
soon with a new studio. We're gonna be back. We're not gonna miss a week. So whenever you're listening to this,
you just keep tuning in, and then
just keep tuning in.
You'll know.
You'll know when the vibe has changed. And I'm not drunk.
Jackie's shithouse. I drank like 6 beers in this whole thing, and I'm looking at you slur your words right now. We're surrounded by boxes. We have to move.
Okay, yeah. We have to move. Thank you so much, and cheers.
Cheers, babe.
And goodbye.